What's going on, guys? Welcome back to episode number 3 of the MotoGP 25 career mode for the Texan Grand Prix at the Circuit of the Americas, riding for the Snipers team in our glorious yellow, white and black colours. And as I say, we're going to Texas today, but not before we go to Borgo Casale for a bit of training with the Super Motard bike, as we selected Jack Miller as our guy that we are training with or against. I'm not sure how it works, but we've got Rueda there as well. I think that is Miller, and then ourselves. So I haven't really done much Motard, so we'll kind of see how this one goes. But if you have missed any of the last episodes while we ride around this track on our Motard bike, I can tell you now it doesn't last very long because I'm not very good at this. But if you have missed the last episodes, I recommend you go back and watch them because it sets the scene for the Texan Grand Prix after a very entertaining, pretty chaotic start to the year in Thailand and then Argentina, where we picked up our first podium finish. So we're trying to go and keep the ball rolling, keep the momentum going as we head into America. Try and keep that podium finish streak going and try and get a second and then a third at Qatar and etc as we crash out of that one. And like I say, that was the end of that. But as we head into the practice session, time to get serious now as Moto3 continues in America. Nice consistent conditions throughout the weekend. We haven't really got to worry about any rain. There's a little bit of variable weather with cloud and overcast and stuff, but no rain forecasted or expected as we head up the hill towards the big American Stars and Stripes flag and the outside of turn number 1 into a bit of traffic with, I think it's Lunetta Foggia, Max Quiles as well. So a little bit of traffic to deal with on this opening lap. And annoyingly, even though these guys are on an out lap, they don't seem to get out of the way like they do on Formula 1. They'll move out of the way all the way around the out lap or the in lap. MotoGP games, the AI just kind of get on with it. So we've got to try and battle our way through the traffic, which we do so pretty perfectly. Foggia on the outside there, we'll run him a little bit wide, leave him a bit of space on the inside, because what we don't want to do is make contact with him and then end up being given an unfair long lap penalty. But coming to the end of the lap, it's you see we'll drop behind Foggia and Quiles. The lap was pretty poor, 2:15.872, which is 1.2 seconds behind Gino Pini in 7th place. So obviously a lot of time still to find as we figure out our way around this unique Circuit of the Americas, which is very undulating. Obviously you got a big climb up to turn 1, then you drop down on the other side of it, and then you climb through turn 2 and then into turn 3, 4, 5, 6. It's a very fast change of direction. Lots of things to try and think about and process when you're on these Moto3 bikes, as we have a big snap of oversteer on the change of direction on this particular lap. But as we head in towards turn 11, exactly what I'm on about with the unique quirks of this track. The curbs are very unforgiving, and on that lap here at turn 11, Dennis Foggia getting caught out, bringing out the yellow flags, which unfortunately cancelled our best lap of a 2:14.5, which is still a good 1.4 seconds shy of Jose Antonio Rueda, who currently leads the session. But as you can see, a little bit of difficulty getting the power down out of the final corner. It was spinning up, getting very sideways on the exit as we do a 2:14.8, so actually slower than the lap that we got taken away from us for yellow flags. And talking of yellow flags, our teammate losing a lap right on cue there. So a little bit frustrating that we lost a bit of time there. We'll obviously be able to gain it back on the very next lap, hopefully, providing we get out of here cleanly, which we do, and we cross the line and we do improve to a 2:14.4, but that is still only 17th in this session. So at the minute, not feeling at one with this Honda 250 Moto3 bike. But as we start another attack, 10 minutes just over on the clock, we've got Luca Lunetta again in front of us, and we're going to try and use them as a little bit of a marker just to figure out the braking points, especially into turn 1, turn 11, turn 12, 13, and stuff like that, just to try and be as pinpoint accurate as possible and try and take the most out of it. But already through this first section of the track, I know that I'm going to get held up because I am quicker than him. So if we can pass him through this first section, which we just about do. He went into turn 4 really deep, and at turn 5 we managed to get cut up the inside and hold the position through turn 6. So already getting a little bit caught up with the AI on our fast attempts, but we have survived the yellow flag curse on this particular lap we're going to improve by about a second and a little bit. In fact, we might just be enough to go top. We lose a bit of time at the final corner, and we put ourselves in third, 16 thousandths of a second behind Piqueras, and only 30 thousandths of a second behind Rueda. So a good run on our little qualifying simulation, and that puts us P3 straight into Q2. Carraro as well, our teammate, in 4th. Eddie O'Shea getting through in 6th position as well. So really exciting qualifying ahead of us, with a couple of unknown names, let's say. Well, not unknown names, but surprise names to make it through into Q2. Joining us from Q1, Jacob Ralstone, Adrian Fernandez, and the 2 CF motorbikes of Luca Lanetta and Dennis Foggia. But here we go, the clock is ticking, and we are ready to go qualifying here for the America's Grand Prix in Texas as we cross the line to start our first flying lap. We've got a bit of traffic coming out of the pit lane, but we should be alright to slot in front or just behind Adrian Fernandez. It's going to be behind, but on the brakes, pushing to the limit there as the track kind of just levels out over the top of the rise. The back wheel coming up, and you're already committed there. You're already leaning into the corner, and as soon as the back wheel comes up off the ground, you have to kind of just relinquish that attack, let go of the brake, and just try and get the back wheel on the floor and try and get through. But as you can see, a very scruffy first sector. The bike making all sorts of shapes as we are battling with Dennis Foggia, and again, it's a little bit frustrating with the AI coming out of the pits and just kind of racing you straight away. I'm trying to do a lap, you're on an out lap. It would be nice if the AI was to just respect that and just kind of back out a little bit, but it is what it is. It sets a benchmark lap time, I guess, anyway, as we head around the outside of Foggia into turn 11, but we aren't going to get that one stopped. You could tell that from a mile off, and Foggia says thank you very much and gets back through. But it didn't matter anyway, because the lap was invalidated for touching the inside curb at turn 12. So we go straight on to the next one. It's a 2:14.5 anyway, which is the benchmark, which is actually slower than what we did, just a fraction slower than what we did in practice. So we've already got a bit of a target to aim for, but we obviously don't have that up against the delta time of our current lap. So let's see what we can do and where we can end up in this one. Foggia, we've kept a nice distance to Dennis. We are catching him a little bit in the throughout the lap, but we did pick up a nice slipstream down the back straight into turn 11 before that as well. So we are picking up a bit of a toe from Dennis Foggia, which might be crucial, especially as he's already got a bit of track knowledge from Q1 as well. So expect to see him up towards the sharp end. Obviously, the victor of the Argentinian Grand Prix last time out, after a battle with Furusato that ended in tears for the Japanese rider, and Foggia went on to win the race, despite us trying to pressure him to the end. But as we head to the end of this lap, we are going to surely move up from 7th position at the minute, and we cross the line and we do go 4th. It's 4th fastest for us, and we actually tow ourselves 3.5 tenths clear of Dennis Foggia in front of us. But at the minute, it is Uriarte on pole position on the MLAV bike, and as we skip to the end, Uriarte is going to hang on. Carraro in the middle of the front row, so our teammate has got pace here. 2nd, Boasri in 3rd, and we're going to start the American Grand Prix from P4.
Hello to all our friends back home from the USA. We're live from Austin, one of the tracks with the highest elevation change in the entire championship. In a few moments, we'll move to the main straight to watch the start of the Moto3 race.
It's race day then in Texas as we go racing for the 3rd round of the Moto3 World Championship at the Circuit of the Americas. And as you saw from the qualifying session, a surprise name on pole position. Marcos Uriarte and the MLAV Racing Squad will start on pole, Carraro 2nd and Boasri 3rd. We head row 2. We're joined by Furusato and Dennis Foggia. So a few surprise names, I guess it's fair to say, at the front of the field, with Carraro in 2nd. I know he's been fairly quick. Here he is on screen. But also Boasri on the front row. So it's going to be an exciting battle. Eddie O'Shea's up there as well from his Q2 start. But we're going to go with a medium tyre. Bit of a risk, but let's see what we can do.
The race officials give the okay. Riders have their eyes fixed firmly on the lights. Just a few more seconds and the Grand Prix of the Americas is go.
So here we go. The reason I say that the medium tyre is a little bit of a risk is we haven't actually done any laps on the medium tyre. All of our laps is soft tyre, but I feel like the drop off with the soft tyre for me is a little bit too much. But we go racing here in Texas for round number 3. We cover off Foggia straight away, and we do move up into back into 4th position briefly. But on the way into turn 1, we're going to try and look around the outside of Boasri. We're not going to get through on him, and Bertele comes through. There's yellow flags because there's an incident further back. Jacob Ralston's gone down, and there was an incident involving Rueda and Noah Detweiler on the CIP bike further back. But as we head through the snaking section of sector number 1, we are down to 6th position briefly, and we might have to relinquish that attack because through goes Furusato on the 658 bike. So he's made a good start from 6th on the grid, 5th on the grid, and he is up into P4. So Furusato making places up early on. We're picking up a track limits warning early on, which is not ideal in the slightest, as Bertele gives us a push, which then pushes us wide, and instead of rolling off, we pick up a second track limits warning. So not ideal in the slightest, as Matteo Bertele hits us in the back, but he's gone down. Bertele has crashed at turn 11. He is the first victim of the turn 11 curb. Bertele is down. Is he out of the race? I don't think so. I think he might have rejoined further back. No, he is out. Bertele out of the race. So Bertele crashing out of the race on the opening lap. That is not ideal for him, and we are now, free in 6th position. But here's your leader. Uriarte's gone down now. Uriarte has crashed out of the lead, and, well, this is going to be the story of the race, I'm pretty sure. It's going to be a long-winded battle of just trying to stay on the bike, I think. But here's what happened at the start of the race. Contact further back with the 2 KTM bikes, and unfortunately for Jacob Ralston, he gets taken out and wiped out of the race. But, yeah, I think this race is going to be a pretty hectic battle of at the front. You can already see the front 3 are breaking away from us. We've got a gap to Foggia behind as we clip the inside curb there. That's going to cost us a little bit of time, but I think it's just going to be a matter of surviving. I think if we can survive, we might be in with a chance of picking up a podium in this race. But as you can see, on lap number 3, the gap has opened up to 2.1 seconds. We're 2.4 seconds behind the leader. We've still got the chasing pack of Foggia and Munoz now behind us as they go into turn 12. Munoz is down. Foggia is down. They are both down. Munoz gets back on, but Foggia is out of the race. So it is genuinely, as Max Quiles now crashes further back as well, it is genuinely a survival mission here in Texas. It is genuinely a survival mission. But back further back, this is Luca Lanetta, who is also going to succumb to turn 11, down on the curb, and he is out of the race. But now back with the leading guys. It is Furusato out front, Carraro there in 2nd position, looking to try and get through. Boasri still sat there patiently in 3rd, but there's no way through for Carraro. He has to roll off the throttle, and that leaves Furusato to hold the line over that curb. Hold your breath as you go over that curb. They're all safely through turn 12, but it's Furusato leading. Carraro in 2nd place, but Furusato, hang on a minute, Furusato's gone down. Furusato has crashed out. He's gone down, and he's rejoined behind us. So Furusato, for whatever reason, has gone down. He used too much inside curb, just like everywhere else, and he's crashed out of the race, and that promotes us into the podium positions. And we're not done yet, because here's Joel Kelso, the man who was at the front of the Thai Grand Prix at the start. He's down at turn number 12. There's somebody else down as well. I think it was Picaras maybe, who had gone down, but it is all happening. It is all cracking off as we make a huge mistake into turn 1, exactly like we did in qualifying, where the back comes off the floor as you level out over the top of the hill, and for some reason we pick up a drop position warning, an instruction to drop a position to Furusato, which we do, and now we're behind Adrian Fernandez as we pick up another track limits warning. So we've only got 1 track limits warning left to play with before we get a long lap penalty. But Adrian Fernandez is fuming. I don't know why. We haven't done anything to him in this race. We haven't seen him in this race as we have a huge slide and have to let Fernandez go. And then Ricardo Rossi comes through, and he picks up not just 1 position, but 2 positions, because he gets 1 off Adrian Fernandez as well. But Fernandez, you can see, he's not very happy. He's got a sad face next to his name. Why he's not very happy, I could not tell you, to be honest. I have no idea what we've done to upset Adrian Fernandez. Maybe running wide and coming back on in front of him or something at turn 1 upset him. But it is what it is. I'm not bothered. It just kind of fires me up to make a move on the Leopard bike. So we'll just try and see what we can do as we get side by side with him. We haven't quite got the pull, as we made a bit of contact with him, a bit of elbow bashing, just to let him know that, you know, it's all right to be annoyed with me. I'll give it you back. But Forasato's gone down again. Taya Forasato's crashed this time at turn 11, and that's him out of the race this time. We're looking at the inside of Fernandez. That was never going to be a move on there. That would have ended in disaster. But hang on a minute. Where's Bouasri come from? Bouasri's come into this battle. He's crashed and rejoined. We nearly crashed as well as we hit the brakes for turn 15. The bike got upset, but the two Honda Team Asia bikes now locked together side by side. Ricky Rossi runs wide, and Bouasri's down for the second time in 3 corners, and he's been taken out by his teammate. I genuinely don't know what to say, but this is what happened to Bouasri. From the lead of the race, he lost it for an absolute age. He hit the inside curb, and the front are gone for an absolute age. But now, as we go on to the final lap of the race, it is all or nothing on this final lap. We're currently sat in P4. Our teammate is leading this race by 6.4 seconds as we get through on Ricky Rossi. No way through on Adrian Fernandez, but it does set up potentially as Ogden and Peony go down further back. I think them two might have come to blows with each other, or both going down on the curb. There is no love lost between myself and Fernandez. We both want P2. We're going to try and do everything that we can to get ahead of the Leopard bike, as somebody else has crashed further back as well. But that doesn't matter, because we are locked in a battle here with Adrian Fernandez. We are going to try to set up a move into the final corner, see if we can get through. Top left of your screen, though, our teammate is about to claim Sniper's first victory. We get sideways on the exit. Ricky Rossi's gone down behind us. It is all happening here in Texas. I don't know where to look, but it's going to be P3 and back-to-back podium positions for ourselves. But it is glory for our teammate as Nicola Carraro takes victory by 6.5 seconds over Adrian Fernandez. We couldn't get through in the end and take third. The two MLAV bikes of Uriarte and Eddie O'Shea 4th and 5th. David Almanza 6th. Ricky Rossi got 7th ahead of Bouasri. So the two teammates crossing the line pretty much together after their blows. Ogden 9th. Peony rounds out the top 10. But crucially, you notice that there is no Kelso, Rueda. They were all out of the race. They all crashed out or picked up limited points in the bottom paying positions. And that promotes us to the lead of the Moto3 World Championship. So we lead the standings over Adrian Fernandez, who seems to be now our new rival, by 4 points. Foggia 3rd, Kelso 4th, Almanza rounding out the top 5. And the battle has tightened up in the Teams Championship as we're 2 points behind Leopard now, going into the Qatar Grand Prix. But we can finally get our breath back. That was probably the most difficult race to commentate ever, because there was just action at pretty much every corner, every lap. Something was going on, and it's just the layout and the nature of the Texas circuit on this game, with its unforgiving curbs, its difficult undulation. You know, we saw from ourselves at turn 1, the back wheel coming off the floor. Thought we were going to be down a few times, and it is really just a bit chaotic, that race. So hopefully we haven't got any more too crazy like that, because it would be nice to have a bit of a fight and just not stay on the bike and you'll pick up a result. However, it's development time, and I think the obvious one from that was not being able to slipstream anybody down the back straight. We got in the slipstream, but I don't think we really passed anybody in a straight line, which was annoying. So yeah, that's where we're going to put our focus. Rueda is congratulating us on finishing in front of him. I mean, it was quite easy when everybody was falling off, if I'm being perfectly honest. But interestingly, our teammate kind of rivalry and relationship is neutral, and Adrian Fernandez has gone back to neutral. So maybe he just had a bit of red mist in the race at the time and got a little bit upset. But there we go. We head into round number 4, the Qatar Grand Prix, top of the standings, and hopefully we can try and fight for that first victory. A little bit bitter that Carraro has beat us to it, but hopefully next time it'll be ours. So until then, thank you for watching, and I'll see you then. So until then, thank you for watching, and goodbye.